Now, I want to make a quick disclaimer on this because I understand that some of these systems that are in play might be imperative and needed to make console gunplay feel okay. It might be needed, it's hard to say. I play a lot on PC, but I understand that some of these systems might have been created to make the console experience a little bit better and viable. I would say that overall the gunplay and the mechanics in this game are overall pretty damn good. But this is something that has been getting on my nerves for a while, and I want to show you this in play because I have become beyond frustrated with the shooting mechanics, especially on PvP PC. So let me get into this. Flinch in Destiny 2 is one of the weirdest mechanics in the game. Not only does it impede your ability to hit the target, it also, quote-unquote, helps you hit the target. It is a very finicky, very odd system that I think needs to be reworked in Destiny 2 because it is a very unsatisfying thing to play with and against and correct and deal with, and it's not very consistent overall. I think that Flinch in Destiny is way overtuned, it is way too strong in many cases, and I feel like it impacts the gunplay in a very negative light. In Destiny 1, dueling with weapons was one of my favorite things, and I do enjoy it for the most part in Destiny 2, but the more and more I play, the more I realize how awful the flinch system really is, and I want to showcase that with a couple of weapons today. Now, with this sidearm, you might not notice it that much. Here and there, maybe it dips to the left or dips to the right, but you're going to notice it much more in some of this other footage as I use different weapons. So let's cut to a few of those right now and explain a few things that are going on. Now, flinch is going to be a little bit random as an enemy shoots you, and it's going to depend how hard they hit you or if they are in PvP with something like high caliber rounds, but you can notice with this grenade launcher, sometimes I get a little nudge, and sometimes it looks like someone's grabbing the barrel of my gun and pulling it to the left or the right, depending where they're shooting me. It is so aggressive that if you're using a grenade launcher and aiming down sights, it can actually make you completely miss even a boss enemy because you flinch so hard. Now, I understand if something is point blank beside you shooting with a shotgun. In real life, you would probably flinch like crazy or, well, I think you would die. If someone shotgunned you in the cheek from beside you, I'm pretty sure you would die. But you need to remember this is a space shooter. This is all about flying through space, fighting aliens, and doing crazy things online. Now, I understand that maybe you need a little bit of a flinch in a game to make it seem real, but there is so much of it, and it varies so much depending on what you're doing, that it's very inconsistent in many people's eyes, and I find it very frustrating to play with. Now, I get it. Some guy is shooting you in the face with a big, giant hand cannon. It should probably send your aim off a little bit. But to fully explain this and show this off, I want to show what flinch does. Now, there's other people that have done videos on this. Cool Guy's done a video on this. There's a lot of talk about flinch, but I want to showcase this before I jump into the video fully. Flinch not only knocks you off of target, but it knocks you onto target. You can see it very heavily with this sniper rifle. It is literally dragging my gun towards the head, allowing me to get a headshot. Now, this mechanic makes weaker players able to hit headshots that are absolutely insane because it's literally doing the aiming for them. It's dragging the gun towards them. And a very good player who masters this can time that shot and get a crazy free headshot because the gun is literally dragging you towards the head, putting you directly on target. This happens in PvE as well, pushing you towards your target's critical hit spots, and I find this mechanic very frustrating. Not only does it reward people by aiming for them and dragging them heavily towards that headshot potential, but it also messes with your aim because you're trying to correct and you're trying to fix your aim because it's knocked you off of target. But then it knocks you back onto target while you're correcting, and so you might overcorrect. And so in many cases, it might actually just be optimal to aim at the chest and let the gun do the work for you. And I find this very frustrating. If someone is shooting me and knocking me off target, it should be my job to get back on target. And that is where you're going to see a lot of skill gap in a game that is based on shooting guns. But unfortunately, with the amount of aim assist, with the amount of recoil, and with this strange mechanic, it is such an odd feeling trying to duel someone, trying to land your shots, and the gun is being grabbed and pulled and shook all over the damn place while you're trying to aim. Even if that mechanic stayed in the game, if they just made it a little bit more subtle, I could understand it. But in some cases, it is so damn aggressive that it makes dueling feel frustrating at times because shots that look like they should hit don't, and shots that sometimes you feel you should miss connect. You never really have a strong feedback loop on, am I landing my shot? Am I correcting well? Am I aiming properly? It almost feels like blind luck at times. Obviously, there's skill involved, but it doesn't feel satisfying like I am aiming the gun 100% of the time. Now, another big problem is directionality impacts your flinch very heavily. And if more than one person is shooting you, you can jog from the left to the right, and it's literally like you're on a string. Your gun is being pulled in the other direction, and trying to center yourself and land those shots is very tough. Now, at a close to medium range, you might not notice the impact too much, and you might be able to keep your aim relatively close, relatively centered. But the further away the target, the more you're going to notice the impact of this flinch, and the more it's going to send you off. Now, the counter to this is don't get shot. What? What? The counter to this crazy impact on your gunplay is don't get shot in a game where it's your job to shoot and it's other people's job to shoot you. This is a factor that doesn't happen a couple times a game and makes it feel like trash. It is something that happens to you game in, game out, minute in, minute out, all the damn time. And I think that's why it's starting to frustrate me so much. Flinch isn't a little thing that will cause you to lose a gunfight here or there, or cause you to win a gunfight here or there. It is causing you to win and lose these fights at an alarming rate. Flinch and aim assist and all the factors in between in aiming are having such a big impact that I feel like players actually don't have as much control as they think. And I want to showcase that with this clip right here. I am not going to course correct or aim correct whatsoever. I'm just going to aim at his chest. And I want you to look at how many critical hits I am landing with this gun. It is an absolute abomination that I'm hitting critical hits this frequently. It is actually almost the majority of my bullets hitting in the head when I'm aimed at kind of chest level. Now, if I go down towards the knees, try to shoot him in the penis, or if I shoot off of his hitbox, I'm not going to land those crits as much. You can see that it's not dragging me down towards his head as much as you might think. But if you are on target, if you are in the chest area, it will drag you up towards the head so frequently that it's probably even better to aim at chest height and just stay on target than it is trying to pick the head, because more bullets will hit the chest and some will be dragged into the head instead of hitting the headshots and being dragged off of target. It is so strong. It is so powerful. This flinch mechanic is impacting your aim so much that you almost don't need to aim the gun. Destiny has always been a game where I found the gunplay extremely satisfying. I found the gunplay and the combat in this game amazing. But more and more as I play, and unfortunately as frustration and burnout sets in, I'm starting to notice these things more and more, and they're frustrating me more and more. I feel like I don't even need to aim my guns. I feel like the skill gap and the need to be good at this game is almost nothing, and anyone who picks up a controller can do well against the absolute best players in the game. If you have an SMG and start laying into me, you can win a gunfight without even having to try, and I think that that's bullshit. I understand that maybe this is more a PC issue than a console issue, but this is so annoying to me. It is so unsatisfying. It feels like gunshots, gunfights, really. They come down to more who shot first and who started this flinch first than it does to gun skill at times. It feels like the skill gap in this game has reduced to absolutely nothing. And with the crazy amounts of aim assist, with the auto-aiming, and the different impacts that can happen on your gunfight, it doesn't feel satisfying anymore. And I think that's one of the things that's frustrating me. You can die to an absolute potato because the game aimed for them. You can miss a gunshot because flinch absolutely threw you off target. And it's almost riskier challenging someone than it is to just run away. It's almost a stupid idea to engage on someone who's got that first shot, because chances are, with all of these systems in place, even if you're the better player, you just can't win. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon, my friends. Bye-bye.